Behold the cocoon. Here rendered large in human scale, the better to consider it as a metaphor. I have been making some references, particularly in the last few episodes, to my own life transformations, following some dramatic life events and emergence from my own kind of cocoon. It seems the whole of humanity is going through some transformations as well, and this is following on the heels of some pretty dramatic global events. I've also made mention that because I had undergone a sort of transformation, I feel that I have a perspective to be able to say something of value to my fellow human beings. The odd thing about being inside a cocoon is that you likely do not know you are inside. It is only in hindsight, when you emerge into a wider world with a greatly expanded experience and look back at the husk of the thing you emerged from, that you might realize you were even there. It is a rather simplistic metaphor, which cannot capture all of human experience, but the cocoon can aid in distilling some complex things into something more tangible and accessible. Concepts about things as they are typically delivered by intellectuals can be cumbersome. It is useful to extend this metaphor too. Let us go on a journey with the lowly caterpillar and experience the perspective of his or her world. Here we are, in our natural habitat, slowly making our way, eating as we go. Such an appetite we have. We eat and eat. You might be tempted to call us consumers, for that seems to be our chief preoccupation. Where a bunch of us congregate near a particular rich food source, we have a devastating effect upon our immediate environment. We can skeletonize the greenery of our tree in a fairly short order. It seems incredible for such a small creature, but we can attack and consume in such numbers. We are driven by an impulse that we have only a vague awareness of, if we have any awareness at all. We gorge until we are swollen in size, then we have this instinctual drive to rest in this comfort and to form around ourselves a protective barrier. Did we give a thought to this process? Probably not. It seems that that is what all the caterpillars are doing. If there were some rebel caterpillars, they must have left the garden. Nope. It seems that the proper script of life to follow is to amass a treasure trove of resources to ourselves and then convert some portion of it into our cocoon home. Once the cocoon home is built, we have the sense we can rest. All the troubles and dangers of the world can be forgotten. We have done all of this hard work now. It is time for some rest. The caterpillar probably thinks that this is its destiny fulfilled. How could the caterpillar know otherwise? Many a caterpillar has been observed to see some beautiful beings fluttering about the garden, but most of the caterpillars will say, "Pay no mind to those airy beings. Be more industrious and get back to the task at hand. You must consume or die." This breaking news just in. It has been reported that some few of the caterpillar workforce has made it to the far edge of the garden. There they found a reflecting pool, and our unfortunate caterpillar friends chanced to gaze into it. What they saw was something quite hideous. This is why we should not wander astray. There are monstrous creatures out there that we should avoid at all costs. Amass your treasured resources, then build your cocoon, and don't look up or go astray. Stay safe behind your wall and keep those monstrous enemies out. This concludes our news bulletin. Now back to regular programming. Caterpillars. They can be quite judgmental at times, especially when something causes them to be afraid. And they always have the same response when frightened. They wall themselves off in a cocoon of safety. We know better though, don't we? We know that this is not the end for the caterpillar. This is merely a stage. We, human beings, know that this little ugly creature is going to become something quite beautiful to behold. It is undergoing a natural process of transformation. We understand, or we think we do, for we have penetrated the process with our science to reveal the details. It may be of use to us, however, to recapture some of the childlike magic of that transformation. A caterpillar goes into a cocoon, which it weaves after gorging itself, and emerges as a butterfly or moth. From the child's point of view, how absolutely wondrous is that? What about for us, the adults? In the interests of giving good information, it is recognized that not all caterpillars spin silken cocoons. Moth caterpillars do, but butterfly caterpillars use silk to anchor the chrysalis, which is actually the hardened body of the pupa stage of the life cycle. So far, the transformation is remarkable in either the case of the caterpillar that becomes a moth or the one that becomes a butterfly. In the way that this story has been playing out so far, I've been making a metaphorical reference to how we, the human race, are like the caterpillar which forms a cocoon and becomes a butterfly or perhaps a moth. But I think that currently a significant portion of humanity is stuck in the cocoon phase. I would make this case because there seems to be so much anxiety in the world right now. It is not a difficult case to make. You just have to watch the news, however you receive it, for a few days and see rash behavior and the stamp of anxiety. Or perhaps you'd rather not. Perhaps you'd prefer to focus on the positive. There are many ways that can stimulate us to want to wall ourselves off from the world, and many ways to go about it. Distracting ourselves with something is another way to go about it. Metaphorically speaking, we seem predisposed to want to cocoon. But caterpillars nearly always emerge. So what's our problem? The cocoon, where we wall ourselves off, feels safe. I would argue that this is a false positive. It is time for a nudge. Let's give this thing a little nudge and see what happens. Nope, nothing. Heard of the concept of leverage, right? Well, this little lever represents what I can do alone. Here is what I could do with a few core family and friends who add their own little effort to mine in the form of likes, subscribing to my channel, sharing, and all the rest. Let's give this a shot. Nope, still nothing. I think I did nudge it a little, but this is going to take a little bit more effort than that. What if I could be joined in this little way by a great many people? What kind of leverage would I have then to do what I wanted to do? What's this? Now this is what I'm talking about. Let's give this bad boy a shot. If we can't move it with this, nothing's going to be able to. Thanks, I think.